DiJonai. Your game was stinking in the mud, and the Dallas Wings wanted nothing to do with you going forward.
What happens when a split-second act of aggression crosses the line from competition to career-ending mistake? In the high-stakes world of the WNBA, emotions run hot, rivalries run deep, but there's a difference between playing hard and playing dirty. And for DiJonai Carrington, that difference may have just cost her everything. One eye poke, one controversial moment, and in an instant, the Dallas Wings made their move. Fans are calling it instant karma, a message sent not just to Carrington, but to every player who thinks reckless plays can slide under the radar. Others are questioning whether this was about protecting the league's newest star, Caitlin Clark, or protecting the integrity of the game itself. This isn't just a sports story, it's about accountability.
DiJonai Carrington couldn't keep her hands clean either. Would stand out of headlines on the internet. She was always in headlines, punching players in the eye. And then we have to remember, she nearly injured Paige. Like, everybody forgot about that. Y'all remember when she nearly injured Paige, nearly took her whole knee out? Like, we got to remember all of those things transpired during this basketball season, man. I'm here to tell you, they made it their business to get rid of her.
Public perception and the thin line between passion and recklessness. Because in today's viral sports culture, one bad clip doesn't just end up in the referee's report. It's dissected, debated, and replayed millions of times. So, was this a fair consequence or an overreaction fueled by headlines? Let's break it down, the moment, the aftermath, and what it means for the future of the WNBA. From the moment the Dallas Wings stepped onto the court against the Indiana Fever, the tension was already there. This wasn't just another game on the WNBA schedule.
DiJonai, DiJonai, you're always in a dirty play. DiJonai, DiJonai, once again, here we are today. Oh, DiJonai, DiJonai.
It was a brewing rivalry. Caitlin Clark, the rookie phenom drawing record crowds and national headlines, had already faced her share of physical, borderline play from veterans trying to test her. And DiJonai Carrington? She was no stranger to getting under an opponent's skin. Throughout the first half, the game had its usual bumps, shoves, and trash talk, but there was an edge, an almost personal intensity. Every time Carrington and Clark met near the basket, you could feel it building, and then it boiled over. The moment came on a routine box out. Clark positioned herself for a rebound, arms up, eyes on the ball. Carrington stepped in behind her, but instead of fighting for position, her right hand came up unnaturally high. In the replay, it's impossible to miss. Her fingers stretched forward, raking across Clark's face, catching her directly in the eyes. This wasn't incidental contact. Watch closely. Her hand isn't swiping at the ball. It's not shielding space. It's going straight for Clark's line of vision. This wasn't basketball. It was a cheap shot, one analyst said on the post-game show.
NBA player who tried to rip Caitlin Clark's eye out. Zach Dean over at Outkick, hilarious. They tried to rip Caitlin Clark's eye out, has security called on her by ref. That's right. The referee had to call security on DiJonai Carrington. I can't say I'm surprised. I mean, hell, who wants to catch a stray eye gouge, a scoopage of the eyeball out, watching your eyeball roll across the floor because somebody's mad at one of your calls.
And when you freeze frame the clip, you see why. Her arm is extended above shoulder height, her wrist bent in, fingers splayed, the kind of motion that makes any coach wince. If you circle her fingertips in the frame, they're aimed directly at Clark's eyes, not the ball or her chest. Dirty plays aren't new to the WNBA. Fans still remember Alyssa Thomas's infamous hair pull, a move so blatant it instantly made highlight reels for all the wrong reasons. But Carrington's poke has a different weight to it. The eyes aren't just another point of contact, they're a player's livelihood. One slip, one scratch to the cornea, and a career could be altered. Even the announcers couldn't hold back. That's not toughness. That's dangerous, one said, the disgust clear in his tone. The impact was immediate. Clark staggered, clutching her face, eyes watering. The game stopped as medical staff rushed over. She blinked hard, clearly trying to clear her vision, while the crowd buzzed with a mix of shock and anger. This wasn't the hard-nosed rookie test people had been talking about all season. This was something else entirely. And then came the internet firestorm. Within minutes, clips of the play were circulating on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Fans were slowing down down the footage, drawing circles around Carrington's fingers, adding captions like, "This is assault," and "She should be suspended immediately." One viral tweet read, "You don't protect Caitlin Clark, you risk the whole league's reputation." The outrage wasn't just from Fever fans. Neutral observers, even fans of rival teams, chimed in, saying the WNBA couldn't afford to let moments like this slide. The league has been riding a wave of momentum, thanks largely to Clark's arrival and the spotlight she's brought. Incidents that could seriously injure marquee players risk derailing that progress. Carrington, for her part, didn't offer much in the moment. No quick apology, no visible concern. She jogged back to her position as the ref sorted things out, while Clark took a moment to regain her bearings. That lack of visible remorse only fueled the perception that this wasn't an accident, that it was personal. And here's the uncomfortable truth. When you slow it down and watch Carrington's body language, you see intent. The slight lean forward, the targeted reach, the way her left arm stays neutral while her right arm does the dirty work. It all points to a calculated move. Even if you want to give her the benefit of the doubt, the optics are terrible. By the time the game resumed, the narrative had already been written online. Carrington had crossed the line, and the league needed to respond. It wasn't about rivalry anymore. It was about the fundamental safety of players, the image of the WNBA, and whether high-profile stars like Clark could trust that officials and league executives would protect them from reckless plays. In sports, there's always a margin for error. Elbows fly, hands slip, and accidents happen. But this didn't look like an accident. It looked like a choice. And in professional sports, choices have consequences. What happened in those few seconds would ripple far beyond the scoreboard. Because when a play goes viral for all the wrong reasons, the court is no longer the only arena where judgment is passed. Social media becomes the jury, public opinion becomes the judge, and the league has no choice but to act. Within 24 hours, the Dallas Wings made it official. DiJonai Carrington was gone. Relist, contract terminated, no long suspension, no drawn-out appeals process, just one line in a press release that sent shockwaves through the league. The statement from the team was short, almost cold. "We hold our players to the highest standard of conduct on and off the court. Actions that jeopardize player safety are unacceptable." It didn't mention Caitlin Clark by name, but it didn't need to. Everyone knew what actions they were talking about. Sports analyst Marcus Bennett summed it up bluntly. The Wings didn't just bench her, they erased her. And in today's WNBA, that's rare. This wasn't just discipline, this was a message. And yet, the question hung in the air. Was this truly about the play or the backlash? Because make no mistake, the internet had already handed down its verdict. Memes flooded social media. Screenshots of the eye poke were paired with captions like "Karma came fast" and "From starter to spectator in 24 hours." One TikTok clip racked up over 1 million views in a single night, showing the foul in slow motion followed by Carrington's release announcement. The reactions weren't all celebratory though. Some fans argued the punishment was too harsh for a single incident. "People throw elbows every night in this league," one comment read. "Are we firing everyone now?" Others thought the Wings, and even the WNBA, should have gone further, calling for an official league statement or a season-long ban. But this wasn't just any player. This was Caitlin Clark, the most talked about rookie in basketball, the player who's selling out arenas, driving up TV ratings, and bringing new fans into the sport. And whether you love her or think the hype is overblown, one thing is clear: the WNBA is protecting its investment. The numbers back it up. According to league stats, Clark has been fouled 17% more often than the average rookie guard this season. That's not just about her style of play. It's about the target on her back. Veterans know that roughing her up gets a reaction, both on the court and in the headlines. And while most of those fouls are within the bounds of the game, Carrington's was something else entirely: deliberate, dangerous, and caught in crystal clear HD from 3 different camera angles. And here's the kicker. This wasn't the first time Clark had been the subject of extra physicality from Carrington. Earlier in the season, there was a chippy exchange that ended with a hard shoulder bump after the whistle. It didn't get the same coverage, but fans who'd been following the rivalry knew there was history here. That's why this foul felt like the breaking point, not just an isolated moment. For Dallas, cutting Carrington wasn't just about punishment, it was about optics. The Wings are a mid-market team fighting for relevance in a league where storylines drive viewership. Keeping a player associated with a viral dirty play against the league's biggest star could poison their brand for months. By acting swiftly, they sidestepped weeks of controversy. Still, the debate rages on. Was this instant karma justice served, or an overcorrection fueled by social media outrage? The answer might depend on how you view the balance between protecting players and protecting the image of the game. One thing's certain, in a season where Caitlin Clark's every move is magnified, the WNBA just showed that crossing the line with her can have career-altering consequences, and fast. As the dust settles on DiJonai Carrington's release, a deeper question rises to the surface. Does the WNBA have a player protection problem? Because while the Dallas Wings moved swiftly, the league itself stayed silent, and that silence says a lot. In the NBA, a similar act wouldn't just spark a viral clip, it would almost certainly lead to a flagrant foul review, a fine, and a multi-game suspension. Think about it, if this were Draymond Green poking someone in the eye on national television, he'd be sitting out for weeks, not just looking for a new team. The NBA's stricter enforcement of flagrant fouls has evolved over decades of incidents that forced the league to protect its stars. The WNBA, it's still finding its footing. While there are rules on paper, enforcement is inconsistent, and let them play often takes priority over keep them safe. That might have been fine in a league that flew under the mainstream radar. But now with millions of new fans watching, many tuning in specifically to see players like Caitlin Clark, the stakes are much higher. This leads to the unavoidable tension. Player safety versus old school physicality. Ask some veterans and they'll tell you the game has always been physical. Elbows in the paint, hard screens, and contact on drives. It's part of the DNA of basketball. One former coach put it plainly, if you're a rookie and you're shining, people are going to test you. That's not hate. That's the game. But where is the line? When testing a player involves a shot to the eyes, you're no longer proving toughness. You're gambling with someone's career. And that's exactly why Clark's post-game comments struck a chord. I just want to play basketball. No drama, no retaliation, no drawn-out accusations, just a request for the game to be about the game. That statement, simple as it was, became a rallying point for fans who feel the WNBA needs to step in and ensure stars can perform without unnecessary risk. The league has been here before in smaller ways. Past incidents, and from elbows to the head to dangerous undercuts on rebounds, have sparked brief conversations but rarely led to lasting policy changes. The difference now is the spotlight. Plays like Carrington's aren't just forgotten in the box score. They're clipped, dissected, and shared millions of times. Public opinion now forms before the league even makes a statement. So what's next? One possibility is adopting a review system more in line with the NBA's flagrant foul rules. Clear categories for excessive or unnecessary contact, automatic video reviews, and consistent penalties. Another is implementing targeted protections for vulnerable situations like box outs and rebounds, where players' eyes, heads, and knees are most at risk. The league could even consider an in-game replay challenge for dangerous contact, giving coaches a direct tool to address fouls missed in real time. If that sounds reactionary, consider history. The NBA's current flagrant foul standards didn't appear out of nowhere. They were born from infamous moments. Hard fouls on Michael Jordan in the 80s, dangerous playoff plays in the 90s, and headshots that forced the league to admit it needed a clearer line. Every major safety reform in sports comes from a flashpoint. Carrington's foul might be the WNBA's. But here's the tricky part. Changing the rules risks altering the identity of the game. Some fans fear a crackdown on physical play will make the sport softer, stripping away the gritty edge that defines playoff basketball. Others argue that skill and strategy should be the defining factors, not who can get away with the dirtiest hit. Caitlin Clark's presence accelerates this debate. She's a generational scorer, a marketing magnet, and, for better or worse, a lightning rod for controversy. Every hard foul against her isn't just a foul anymore. It's a headline, a trending topic, and potentially a PR nightmare for the league, which means the WNBA is at a crossroads. It can keep operating as it has, letting individual teams handle discipline and hoping incidents fade away, or it can take a page from the NBA's playbook and formalize its commitment to protecting its stars, no matter how physical the game gets. Because here's the truth, protecting players doesn't mean eliminating toughness. It means drawing a clear, consistent line so that competition thrives without crossing into recklessness. And after this week, that line has never been more visible. Or more necessary. When the dust finally settles after a controversy like this, two careers are left under the microscope. The one who committed the foul and the one who took it. For DiJonai Carrington, the reality is stark. Her WNBA future is hanging by a thread. Will another team sign her? On paper, Carrington is still a capable player, strong defensively, with energy off the bench and a reputation for playing hard. But now that hard label has morphed into dirty in the eyes of many fans. That's a stigma that's hard to shake in a league this small. Analysts are split. Former coach Lysa Ward believes she'll get another shot. Basketball is a business. If a team needs a physical wing defender and thinks she can help them win, they'll sign her. But the leash will be shorter than ever. ESPN's Carter Blake is less optimistic. This isn't just about talent, it's about optics. In a 12-team league with limited roster spots, you don't take on a PR headache unless the player is game-changing. And Carrington isn't that. For now, she's in limbo. Working out, staying ready, but with no guarantees. Every day she's unsigned. The label sticks harder. And if the WNBA quietly decides she's too risky for its brand, she may be headed overseas, joining the long list of American players whose domestic careers ended not with a farewell game, but with a press release. Caitlin Clark, meanwhile, has handled the aftermath in a way that only strengthens her image. In her post-game availability, she didn't rant or demand punishment. She looked into the cameras, voice steady, and said, "I'm tough, but this has to stop." It was a soundbite that struck a perfect balance, acknowledging the physicality she's willing to endure, while clearly drawing a line against unnecessary danger. That one sentence became the headline on ESPN, Bleacher Report, and countless fan accounts. And just like that, she wasn't just the victim of a dirty play, she was the composed, principled star calling for a better standard. That kind of response matters. It shapes how the public, and the league, frames the incident. If Clark had lashed out, the story could have shifted toward feud or trash talk. Instead, her measured words reinforced the idea that this wasn't about personal grudges. It was about the health and safety of every player in the league. But make no mistake, the court of public opinion didn't stay calm. Fan power is the hidden force in this story. The Dallas Wings didn't operate in a vacuum. They acted in an environment where, within minutes of the foul, social media was flooded with slow-motion clips, angry threads, and petitions calling for suspension. The viral pressure was relentless. One fan post, "If the WNBA doesn't protect Caitlin Clark, they don't care about growing the game," racked up over 50,000 likes in hours. TikTok edits pairing the foul with headlines about Clark's impact drew millions of views. The message was loud and clear: ignoring this moment would be a PR disaster. The Wings' front office may have already been leaning toward discipline, but when you've got a fan base, and even casual viewers, demanding accountability, the calculus changes. Swift action becomes not just a moral decision, but a business one. Release Carrington, and you show that player safety matters. Hesitate, and you risk weeks of negative headlines and awkward press conferences. It's not the first time we've seen this dynamic. In modern sports, fans don't just consume the game, they shape its outcomes. Social media outrage can push a coach to bench a player, force a league to review a rule, or in this case, end a contract. The WNBA is no different from the NBA or NFL in this regard. When the public demands blood, front offices take notice. And here's where the fallout stretches beyond just Carrington and Clark. Other players are watching closely. Coaches are watching. League executives are watching. The message they've absorbed: if you target the league's most marketable player, especially in a way that looks dangerous on replay, you're not just risking a flagrant foul, you might be risking your career. For Carrington, the path forward is narrow. She could issue a public apology, reframe the narrative, and hope that time dulls the edges of the outrage. Or she could double down, defend her play, and risk solidifying herself as the league's newest villain. Either way, every decision she makes in the coming weeks will be judged under the shadow of that one clip. For Clark, the path is clearer. Keep playing, keep scoring, and let her game drown out the noise. But even she knows the target isn't going away. In fact, incidents like this might make it bigger. Every veteran looking to send a message now knows they'll be under the microscope. Every hard foul will be scrutinized. And if the WNBA doesn't take a stronger stance, Clark's plea, "This has to stop," will turn into a recurring refrain. The future of this storyline hinges on two questions. Does Carrington find redemption in another uniform? And does the league find the will to protect its stars before the next viral clip forces its hand? Right now, both answers are uncertain, but one thing is certain. This incident has changed the calculus for everyone. Players know the risk, fans know their power, and the WNBA knows the cost of silence. So here we are, one viral play, one swift firing, one debate that isn't going away anytime soon. We've dissected the moment itself, the hand to the eyes, the freeze frames, the init. We've examined the fallout, the Dallas Wings cutting ties within 24 hours, the tidal wave of fan outrage, and Caitlin Clark's composed but firm, "This has to stop." We've looked at the bigger picture, the WNBA's inconsistent protection policies, the tension between old school physicality and modern player safety, and the growing influence of public opinion in shaping league decisions. Now, it's your turn. Was firing DiJonai Carrington the right call? Did Dallas make the right move in protecting both their image and player safety? Or was this a case where the league should have stepped in with a suspension? A clear, standardized penalty that applies to everyone, not just the player unlucky enough to be caught in the viral storm. Because here's the thing, if the WNBA truly wants to protect its stars, it needs more than individual teams making reactive decisions. It needs a rule book with teeth, one that defines what's excessive, what's dangerous, and what earns you a trip to the bench versus a ticket out of the league. Some of you might believe Carrington's firing was necessary to send a message that dirty plays, especially ones that target the eyes, have no place in professional basketball. Others might see it as an overreaction, the kind of decision fueled more by Twitter threads and TikTok clips than by measured analysis. Both sides have a point, and in sports, debates like this are exactly where the real conversations happen. So I'm throwing it to you. What's the line? Is this a zero tolerance league now? Should the WNBA embrace the NBA style flagrant foul system with automatic reviews and consistent punishments? Or is physical play just part of the game? Something every player, rookie or veteran, needs to handle without expecting the league to step in every time it gets rough. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear from Fever fans, Wings fans, casual WNBA watchers, and even those who just tuned in because they saw the clip on social media. The more perspectives, the better. And while you're down there, don't just scroll past. Smash that like button if you agree Caitlin Clark needs more protection on the court. Every like tells me this conversation matters to you, and it pushes the video further so more fans and maybe even some league decision makers that see it. If you're new here, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We dive deep into the stories behind the highlights, the rivalries, the controversies, the league politics you won't hear about in the post-game interviews. If you want raw analysis with receipts, this is your channel, because this isn't the last time we're going to see something like this. As long as Caitlin Clark or any high-profile rookie is in the league, she's going to be tested. Some of it will be clean, hard basketball. Some of it will cross the line. The difference is whether the WNBA, the teams, and the fans hold the players accountable when that line is crossed. You've seen my breakdown. You've heard the context, the history, and the stakes. Now, it's on you to join the conversation. Do you want a league where stars can shine without worrying about dangerous contact? Or do you want to preserve the old-school edge, even if it means moments like this happen from time to time? Comment your take right now. And remember, this isn't just about Carrington and Clark. This is about the future of the WNBA. It's about how the game will be played, how rivalries will be remembered, and how the league will protect, or fail to protect, the players who bring fans to the seats and eyes to the screens. So let's talk, let's debate, let's hold everyone, players, coaches, refs, and executives to the same standard. Because if we don't, the next instant karma might not just end a career, it might change the league forever.